Hello, I'm still Dave Davenport and still kicking after several years as the director of Camp Chanco back in the dark ages. But those years were also great times and filled with great people who I remember and still know in many cases with love and pleasure. Some of those people are still getting me into trouble. Consequently, I'm now the capital campaign chair for Chanco on the James, which is also still here and still kicking. As part of the Diocese of Southern Virginia, our camp and conference center has now operated this vibrant ministry for more than 52 years. Campers, retreat guests, clergy, parishes, alumni, board members, families, college students, the Episcopal youth community, happeners, and cursiistas are just some of those served by our center. And in case you're unaware of this, we have a long-standing reputation for providing access to our summer camp through scholarships to young people from Boys Home, Mission of the Holy Spirit, the For Kids organization, and Dos Santos, along with ministries such as All God's Children, which serves campers with incarcerated parents, and of course, youth from our own diocese. Many of you have contributed to the scholarship funds, which have helped to provide transformational experiences to our campers that wouldn't otherwise be possible. Thank you. To reflect on our past for a minute, Chanco had very humble beginnings in 1968 as a rustic, meaning tents, Episcopal summer camp, with occasional weekend retreats and a dining hall added later in the 70s. And then, just over 30 years ago, we moved to our current location and these greatly expanded year-round retreat facilities. It was a new and welcome era, but after more than 2 decades just passed on by, we had to deal with aging buildings with rotting siding and damaged roofs, all kinds of things. Just the sort of deferred maintenance that increasingly challenged our abilities to maintain the center, as well as to grow an ever more vibrant ministry. So, we set about the wonderful expansion and renovation efforts of the Campaign for Chanco. The new spaces and the many renovations were ready for summer camp in 2019. We loved every minute of last summer, and we had a terrific fall, filled with parish retreats and gathering weekends of various types, and even many weekday events for adults to rejuvenate. And then, we came into March of this year, the pandemic. Well, we all know how difficult this has been. Certainly, Chanco has been deeply affected. We couldn't even have the summer camp program this year, even though our camp registrations were on track to be the best ever. This was our first time to cancel in over 50 years, but it was obviously the right thing to do. However, it's important to recognize the ongoing success story of Chanco, even during a pandemic. The center has hosted families and individuals for getaways and personal retreats throughout the summer, and hundreds have tuned into our virtual worship services on the Bluff and in our new Spirit Center. Campers have joined us for virtual campsite reunions on Zoom, along with participating in Chanco Pen Pals and taking the Chanco Challenge. In August, Family Camp was a great success, and our Food for the Soul retreat this fall already has registrations rolling in. You may know that the Chanco board and staff worked diligently to apply for and receive relief through the CARES Act. And last but not least, the Chanco community has provided much needed assistance to our May Giving Tuesday Now fundraising challenge, which has generated more than $30,000 to help support our year-round staff in these times of suspended programs due to COVID. Clearly, our Chanco community is familiar with what we know as the spirit of Chanco. It's what each person takes from this special place, which has endured and will continue to endure for generations to come. Many of us also know the spirit of Chanco as another manifestation of the Holy Spirit, of course. The spirit that enlivens us and will help us keep on keeping on. It's with that spirit that we want to say to each of you, thank you. Thanks for all of your generous support of time, talents, treasure, and prayers for Chanco during this challenging time. And for those of you who may not know us that well, just know that we're here. We're still here, building on this critical ministry, and we're counting on having the time to share this directly with you. Until then, you may ask, what's next for Chanco's ministry? Well, please stay tuned and listen closely to some of our Chanco friends and their stories of why Chanco's ministry is important to them. And please remember that Chanco's future lies in making sure that everyone, our parishes, alumni, friends, and our community, understand that we still need you. Thanks again for all you've done and continue to do to support the Chanco community that we all love.